back to another video. Today I'm discussing the ability Sunshine. As we know, Sunshine is a grace given to that was possessed by Mael, one of the four archangels, and of course by one of our favorite characters, Escanor, the Lion Sin of Pride, back in Seven Deadly Sins. And of course with Sunshine, it allows the ability to grow as the day went on, as the highest point of their power would be at high noon, which is, essentially 12 o'clock, and last for 1 minute. And he of course is at his weakest at midnight. But he is still somehow, I really didn't do research into that, he is still somehow able to use a nighttime form, but that mostly has to do with the fire inside, the sun inside his heart, and less of the ability to absorb the sunlight when the moon is not around. It's still a very much weakened form, but he can still fight in that form. Now, of course, during each passing hour, of course, he was able to even fight off Meliodas in his assault mode, which is the most second strongest that we have ever seen Meliodas. And of course, with his use of the Sunshine Grace, he was able to fight on par with the Demon King, helping his friends out in the necessary death of the Demon King. With Sunshine, it gave him the abilities to use Cruel Sun, Pride Flare, Crazy Prominence, and Final Prominence. Of course, this made his personality change as the day went on, from being one to a measly little bartender, which is him basically being himself, someone who's humble, someone who doesn't really want to fight and get out the way of most, if not all, the enemies, to someone being so filled up with pride, saying that you can't really mess with me. Of course, dropping one of the hardest lines: "Why would I hate you for killing my captain when all y'all are beneath me in the first place?" Now, of course, talking about the abilities, Cruel Sun allows Escanor to create a miniature sun, which radiates so much heat that it melts nearby armor. And of course, he did melt a body of water in an instant. That, with also the ability of Pride Flare, as well as Crazy Prominence, which produces a large amount of miniature suns from his body that explode on impact. And Final Prominence, as the one he can only use this, Escanor concentrates all his power into a gigantic swirling fireball that he hurls at the opponent. Now, when he is able to transfer this grace over to Mael, once Mael is turned back from Esteros, I'm probably saying that name wrong. Mael creates a miniature sun that can grow at will to a huge size, causing an immense explosion and Helios flare. After concentrating the power of the sun from within his body into his fists, Mael performs a punch that shoots a torrent of fire. And this is maybe the second strongest ability that is ever introduced in Seven Deadly Sins. Second only to, of course, Chaos, as it allows you to fight almost anything and everything as long as it's during the day. Right? And unfortunately, since it was a grace and it was originally used for the four archangels, when Escanor gained the ability, it was inevitably hurting and killing his body, and eventually his body would not last to stand to use Sunshine. That's why when he received it back from Mael to, of course, help the Seven Deadly Sins in the fight, it was going to be his last fight, as the sun legit burnt up the king. Now, of course, that is it. Of course, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked this video. It's nice to talk about Escanor. It's like he's still here. And of course, I'll see you in the next one. Wish they would bring him back somehow.